You must be joking. I mean, that's the photo op of the year.
Yeah.
Meghan wants to be there.
Hi, all. Welcome to Recollections May Vary, a royal recap where we tend to focus on the rebel royals, probably here on this program. I'm with Kevin O'Sullivan, the man, the myth, the legend. Kev, you've changed times. We've got to tell people about you're changing times on Talk. So how can people watch us together now?
Right. Well, we always used to meet London time at 9 o'clock p.m., 9 in the evening on Mondays and Thursdays. But I seem to have moved from the evening show to drive time. So I've got to work this out properly. But basically, I want you still on Monday and Thursday, but a little earlier, round about 6 o'clock in the evening. So slight change of schedule, but you, Kinsey, will always be a very important part of my output and my content. So I expect you to be there.
I will be. I'll be there with bells on. We've got a packed show today. Of course, I thought of you the instant I saw this report from CharityWatch.org. The headline is Archewell Philanthropies, new name, same old transparency problem. This is a conversation that you and I have on repeat. What the heck does show up and do good mean? Harry and Meghan have got to define themselves, but Charity Watch is going even further, saying Archewell Philanthropies rebranded from its previous name, the Archewell Foundation. Unfortunately, the name change has not been accompanied by any apparent improvement in financial transparency or public accountability. Despite reporting in its federal tax filing that its financial statements are independently audited, the organization has repeatedly failed to provide those audits to Charity Watch. When we have requested them, Charity Watch contacted the organization by mail on January 6, 2026, requesting audits, but received no response as of January 21st. Now, they've also requested audits in 2024, multiple times in 2024. The organization that claims to undergo independent audits but consistently declines to share them raises legitimate questions about its commitment to transparency. I don't think we've ever accused Harry and Meghan of being transparent. In addition, the charity's registration with the Office of the California Attorney General reflects that it's expired. It expired, Kev, on May 15th, 2025. The lack of transparency and outdated information leaves donors and taxpayers without a clear, verifiable picture of how millions of dollars in charitable funds are being managed. Are you shocked?
Well, I'm not shocked. I'm disappointed, shall we say. Look, ever since the Archewell Foundation mysteriously changed its name to Archewell Philanthropies, serious questions have been asked. Why did they do this? They've never really explained it. Some people say it was financial chicanery to get out of the microscope because the Archewell Foundation was being looked at. No, but I'm not saying that there's any wrongdoing here. Got to be very careful. But it was being looked at because it was alleged that the money in that charity was used to fund the gruesome twosome, Harry and Meghan's trips, their pretend royal tours to Colombia and Nigeria.
The safest places in the world, by the way.
Yeah, of course. So that's another story. But the point is that the people who donated to this charity, I mean, I wasn't one of them, but I'm sure that the people who did donate didn't think that they were funding Harry and Meghan's airfares and indeed these weird pretend royal tours. That doesn't strike me as particularly charitable. Were they using the Archewell Foundation charity as a funding mechanism for them to traveling the world? If that's the case, then an investigation is required. And then all of a sudden, as these questions proliferated and reached some kind of crescendo, all of a sudden, oh no, there's no such thing as Archewell Foundation anymore. It's Archewell Philanthropies. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? They still haven't told us. It's a mystery, and they have questions to answer. They really do.
But would they answer is the question, and they wouldn't answer to, if we're calling. If we're calling, they're not picking up the phone.
Yeah, well, they won't answer us, as
No.
we've discussed before. I don't think we're on their Christmas card list, but I think going forward, I think they may have to confront this because, this is a question of financial transparency. The way charities are run is very subjected to the laws, quite rightly, because people who donate to charities have a right to expect that what they're donating to, the money they're donating, will be used for charitable purposes. So they're always under the microscope. And so far, Harry and Meghan haven't answered any of these questions. But it's not, would you mind answering these questions if you feel like it? That's the attitude they seem to have taken so far. But going forward, it won't be a question of whether or not they want to answer these questions. They will be made to. And some critics fear that what emerges from these questions will not be a pretty sight. As I say, if they've been using charitable funds to pay for their airfares and their pretend royal tours of Colombia and Nigeria, then that, I'm afraid, is wrong. That is wrong. Right. So they're going to have to
because that's just them doing PR. That's just them trying to rebrand themselves. I mean, you're absolutely right. One of the things that we constantly talk about at the end of every year is that report that Archewell puts out. Archewell Philanthropies posts documents on its website labeled as an impact report. And we kind of get a kick out of this because what we've discovered is that Harry and Meghan show up when there's already an initiative in place and then take credit for it. And you pat themselves on the back and put it all in a big report that they release at the end of the year. And CharityWatch says an impact report is similarly no substitute for an independent audit, as its purpose is to shape perception, not provide accountability. Such self-produced marketing documents highlight a charity's selected programs and other activities. The contents are chosen by the charity to paint itself in a flattering light for board members, donors, and other stakeholders. That is factual, but also vicious, because that's exactly what Harry and Meghan are doing.
Yeah, you can't just run a charity and not be audited, not be monitored, not be examined, your activities not be examined. You just can't do it. And that appears to be what they've been trying to do so far. My theory, this is purely speculative, is they are a bit worried that if it does get found out that it's true they use charity money to pay for their airfares, they might be in a world of trouble. As I say, this is purely speculative what I'm saying because we don't know. Nobody knows. And that in itself is wrong.
It's unacceptable.
I mean, how long has the Archewell Foundation been around? 5 years, is it? Is it more? Now, Archewell Philanthropies. So they've been, shall we say, playing at charities for the best part of half a decade. And we don't know anything about what they've ever really done with the money. And they're going to have to come clean before too long. And as I say, I think that they fear that what is revealed in that process might not be a pretty sight.
Might get them in a little bit of trouble. I didn't know this, Kev. I'm curious to know if you did. Archewell Philanthropies continues to report having only 2 board members. The board members listed include only Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. A 2-person board lacks the ability to provide meaningful checks and balances, increases the risk of deadlock had you heard this before? Because to me, I go, who's holding them accountable if it's not us? I mean, are we the only ones? Because they don't have to answer to anyone, it looks like, based on a 2-person board member.
Well, ask yourself this question, Kinsey. If we were just talking about, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Soap, who've been running a charity, they've never produced any accounts. We don't quite know what they've done with the money over 5 years.
Suddenly, we don't know what they do at all.
Yeah. Suddenly, they mysteriously changed the name from Archewell Foundation to Archewell Philanthropies. And then we discover that Mr. and Mrs. Joe Soap are the only people on the board of directors of this charity. You would say Mr. and Mrs. Joe Soap seem to me to be extremely dodgy. It is not good enough for there only to be two people on a board of a charity, especially if they happen to be the Duke and Duchess of Sussex running their own charity. That is hopeless. That is hopeless. And let me tell you, warning lights in terms of charity auditors, charity monitors, the people who deal with this kind of activity, the warning lights will be flashing like crazy. This does not look good. They need more members on the board, and they need to start being transparent about what they're doing with other people's money, other people who believe they're contributing to charities, as opposed to airfares to Nigeria and Colombia.
Mic drop for Kev. And we don't have to spend too much time on Meghan Markle appearing solo at the annual 15% Pledge fundraising gala over the weekend. The gala was to honor Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles, for her leadership. But it does help us. It's the best segue, I should say, into our next story. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle spending time apart as he tires of the Hollywood scene. You say to me so often when we see Meghan Markle out and about solo, what's Harry doing? Well, we have our answer. According to an American tabloid Star, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are reportedly experiencing differences in their interests and professional paths since moving to America. Kev, I feel like we talk about this exact same story all the time, and I'm sorry to beat a dead horse, but it reminds me of Charles and Diana, how you kept hearing the same whispers over and over until you realized that it wasn't just gossip, it was true. It says Meghan Markle is focused on the Hollywood scene and building her brand, while Prince Harry is dedicating his energy to the Invictus Games and speaking engagements. Hello, Toronto Hiltons everywhere. The couple is said to be spending a significant amount of time apart and moving in different social circles, leading to a less than perfect marriage behind the scenes. Does this strike you as dramatic? Does it strike you as far-fetched? Or do you see it in Harry on the carpet at Sundance? Like, he looked completely disinterested, like uninterested in being there. Do you see it in their behavior?
Well, this is an ongoing story, but I do think it's valid and it's plausible. It is almost palpable now that Harry just doesn't want to know about Hollywood. She's a Hollywood girl. She's still obsessed with it. She still wants to make it big in Tinseltown. Ain't gonna happen, never gonna happen, but she still dreams. Harry is quite clearly bored to tears with the whole idea. And we know what happened at the Sundance Film Festival. They're launching the film about the
Cookie Queens.
The Girl Scouts Cookie Queens, which they had some sort of involvement in. They suddenly became producers of. Harry had been in London, attending court for the latest of his many lawsuits against the British newspapers. And he was, we believe, ordered to fly back by Meghan. You better be with me to help promote this film. And he turned up. He looked exhausted. He looked like he'd rather be anywhere else in the world. And we start to ask questions. Well, what is going on with this couple? Doesn't he want to see his wife? Doesn't he want to go to Park City and enjoy launching their movie together? Didn't look like it. Looked like he was having a horrible time. She, meanwhile, was plunging herself into it up to here. It's a great movie. I used to be a Girl Scout. Oh, yeah. And then you and I talked about this only last night as we were filming this, that she goes to the 15% pledge all on her own. Now, we were going, well, where's Harry? Why is Harry not there? They live 3/4 of an hour drive away. She's done up in all her finery, looking like, $1 million. Where is he? Where is he? Why is he not there? I think there is something going on. I mean, you know, when he came over to launch his latest legal battle, this one against the Daily Mail in London, you know, he didn't have to stick around, but he did. He stuck around for a few days watching the case,
Mm-hmm.
you know, hanging out in London. He didn't rush back. He eventually goes back and he's ordered straight to Park City for the Sundance Film Festival to launch Cookie Girls. And he seemed very reluctant, not enjoying himself. And then suddenly she turns up at the 15% pledge do the other night in her finery. Now, I'm saying that if this was a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, he'd have been at her side 100%. He would have been beside at the 15% pledge, 100% with his wife, and he wasn't there. And there's a story there, if you ask me. There is a feeling that there are different interests in life. You know, he apparently now trying to sort of earn a buck and bring something into the family coffers, because we know money is not exactly pouring in. He's looking for speaking engagements to make some money, going away more and more and more. Yeah, you get this feeling that those two more and more are leading separate lives, that all is not well behind the gilded gates of Montecito Towers. I really do think you know, this story may become more interesting going forward.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the conflicting actions versus what they say? Like when it comes to Harry and Meghan, it's just all about the hypocrisy of it all. Harry sat on his stand talking about how the media made his life miserable, his wife's life miserable, which was completely unrelated to the case, because the case ceases at like 2013 when they're looking at specifics involving Harry and the
He's not
Daily
in
Mail.
it at all.
Yeah.
Him citing, oh, the papers made my wife's life a misery. Utterly irrelevant.
Yeah.
Okay. He just thinks he can sit there going, oh, everybody, aren't the newspapers horrible? And we're all go, oh, yeah, they're really horrible. Poor you. Absolute nonsense. I know that his lawyers weren't happy. The prosecution lawyers were bemused by it, and the judge was furious. Why are you boring us with this?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's not relevant.
But then Kev, he jumps on an airplane and goes and poses for media in at Sundance.
Yeah.
Then we see Meghan on the carpet at Beyonce's mom's party.
Yeah. This is the hypocrisy of those two, particularly Harry in this case. He sits in court crying, oh, my wife and the awful papers, oh, the media. Well, you know,
she's the second coming of my mother.
Exactly. All of that, you know, the papers, why want the privacy? Leave us alone. Leave it. I hate the media. I hate the papers. Jumps on a plane, goes to the Sundance Film Festival, and then courts publicity. Hello, press. Hello, media. Come and talk to me because I'm pushing my movie, Cookie Queens. I'm here to cooperate with you. In other words, he wants his cake and he wants to eat it too. He wants to engage with the media only, purely, exclusively on his terms. Oh, I need you now, so I will talk to you. Take my picture. Go and see my movie. So he does that, having just come from a court where he says, oh my God, I wish the press would leave me alone. That's his hypocrisy. And also, get real, Harry. I mean, Harry didn't ask to be born a member of the royal family, but he was. He's not.
Yeah, he's had 40 years to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. He's not entirely stupid.
Yeah.
Well, that's stretching it, but he's pretty stupid. But he's not entirely stupid, and he understands what it means to be a member of the royal family. You cannot extract the fact that the public are always going to be interested in you, and you've got to deal with it, not behave like a petulant little kid sobbing because you say the papers have made your wife's life a misery. Meanwhile, she's on Instagram going, hey, look, here's the back of my kids' heads. Buy my as ever jam. Do you
Buy
want
my
some?
chocolate. Here's my husband's feet. Because nothing says chocolate like feet, a feet
Yeah,
shop.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
what about the contradiction between, because I think sometimes when she shows up by herself, especially at an event like this for Tina Knowles, she's trying to say, I'm an independent woman, but she's not letting go of that Duchess title, is she? That she got
Uh,
through marrying her husband.
Yeah, she might have to get used to that when William ascends to the throne. I think he'll get rid of their titles right away. Titles, royal titles, as we know, are very expendable. Ask Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, whose problems go from bad to worse, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the interesting reasons that we're actually, certainly in the British press, seeing a little less of Harry and Meghan than usual, because, of course, Prince Andrew, or the former Prince Andrew, is hogging all the headlines. So is the King, and so is William. The King and William, frankly, not dealing well with the fallout from the Epstein files. But to go back to Harry and Meghan, here's the truth. I think Harry probably is quite enjoying the fact that nobody's interested in him at the moment.
Yes.
Is Meghan enjoying that? Oh, no, 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 no. She won't be liking this at all. Hence her attendance at the 15% pledge gala, trying to look like $1 million, trying to get in the papers. My suspicion on that was, obviously they were both invited, and probably normally maybe they wouldn't have gone. Harry's going, oh, I don't want to go to that. But Meghan's going, I haven't been in the papers for a week. I gotta go. I gotta get on the front page.
Wait, but what do you think about my theory that she's trying to get invited to the Met Gala because Beyonce is a co-chair this year?
Oh, so yeah, 100%. You must be joking. I mean, that's the photo op of the year.
Yeah.
Meghan wants to be there. It depends on how down market the organizers of the Met Gala want to go, I suppose. I guess if they invite Kim Kardashian, they might as well invite Meghan Markle. Yeah, she's desperate to go to that. She's desperate to go to anything where you get photographed. That's why she went to Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah,
it's tragic, actually.
I know. I did think when I watched her on the carpet over the weekend, I thought, this is embarrassing. Like I was a little embarrassed for her. Like it was giving pick me energy. You mentioned Prince William. This story fired me up. Inside Prince Harry's battle plan to heal rift with William, royal sources told Radar that he's been quietly mapping out what one insider described as a carefully timed diplomacy mission and battle plan aimed at easing a feud that has defined the modern monarchy for years. One palace aide says it feels like Harry is testing the waters for peace. The Invictus Games in Birmingham is set to be a key to an olive branch moment, something symbolic but safe, under the banner of a cause everyone can support. The memory of his first Invictus Games in 2014 still lingers, with Charles, Camilla, and William all there, proud and unified. What kind of olive branch really is it, Kev, when the only person this would benefit brand wise is Harry? I just think that it looks so selfish.
Do you know why I think he wants to mend the bridges? I think genuinely he regrets the split from his family.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, and I do. I think that in his heart of hearts, he regrets his behavior since he came to America, because it's caused so many problems. I think Meghan revels in it. I think Meghan's enjoying it, so I think he genuinely wants to try to mend the bridges, certainly between him and his dad, the king, and probably William as well. But is that why he's really going hell for leather to hand out this olive branch to William? Nah. This is Meghan saying, for God's sake, mend the bridges with William. Otherwise, he's going to take
my title.
He's going to take our titles away. That's what this is all about.
Wow.
Harry is doing his wife's bidding here. And by the way, Harry, just forget it, Ginger Nuts. You got no chance. William is not going to forgive his brother. He really isn't.
Well, this story totally agrees with you because one royal source insisted so far there's no real indication that William wants to reopen that door. He's deeply protective of his family and feels that too much damage has been done in the public for things to simply be smoothed over. It's not about stubbornness so much as caution. He doesn't want another round of emotional fallout played out in front of the cameras. For now, his position seems to be to wait and see rather than rush into anything. He's got a good head on his shoulders, Kev. We've seen that over the last few weeks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. William is the cleverest member of the royal family by a long way. I mean, his dad's not that bright, but William is a bright guy. And that's why William is trying to plot his way through this maelstrom, this absolute car crash that the royal family find themselves in right now. For once, it's not Harry, it's his wicked uncle Andrew. The royal family is desperately trying to apologize for the past. It may soon release a very full apology expressing their deep sympathy for Jeffrey Epstein's victims, and so on and so forth. William does not need Harry in this picture. He doesn't need it. So I think William will reject Harry's advances for two reasons. Well, three. One, he's in no mood to forgive. Two, he's got more important things on his mind because the Andrew scandal is literally posing an existential threat to the royal family. Polls right now in Britain, Kinsey, are coming in of the public, and they're really against the royals. I've never seen anything against. I've never seen anything like it. 45.
To be fair, Republic did the investment in those polls.
It's not just Republic. It's
really
not just. Seen this before. The last time I saw this happens in Britain. Every now and again, when the royals do things wrong, the public rise up against them furiously. It's the royals' jobs to try and quell that. The last time I saw this was when the Queen, the late great Queen, got it all wrong with Princess Diana, with the death of Princess Diana, and had to backtrack. That I've never. The last time I saw such a mood of rebellion among the British people about the royal family was then. They are in deep trouble, and William is the man who will navigate their way out of it because he's the only one with the brains to do it. And he does not need Harry in that picture. He just doesn't need it. And also the third reason is, William is a husband. Meghan, and particularly Harry, insulted his wife.
Yeah.
Husbands, a proper husband, a good husband, stands up for his wife, and William will not forgive the gruesome twosome for upsetting and insulting Kate, and I'm with William all the way on that one. So Harry can just forget about it. He is not going to be building any bridges between him and his estranged brother. That relationship, I think, is over. And what's going to happen with the king and the Invictus Games, I don't think the royal family will go.
I don't either.
I know peace pact between Harry, William, the king, and the British royal family generally. That is still a war zone.
Agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend, and watch me with Kevin O'Sullivan every Monday and Thursday. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you again next week. Bye.